once the tinnitus sets in, then it's usually not long after that that the ringing in the ears becomes voices in the head.
Today we're going to talk about mental health. The World Health Organization defines health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Good mental health is a lot more than not being sick.
Lookoutfa Charlie. This is not normal.
Alright, let's knock some stuff out. A lot of people lately have been asking about comments. What's going on with my comments? I went back to edit a comment and it was gone. Or just all kinds of questions. My comments are vanishing. Things like that. And this is the last time I'm going to talk about this. So what we're going to start doing is just directing people to this video when they ask. This has been going on YouTube for a long time, but on specific channels, a lot of weird things are happening. Like for me, when I upload a video for the first half an hour, this has been happening for a few months now, it won't play for a half an hour. There have been times where I've spent 20 minutes responding to somebody, and then I will click enter and my comment will be there for 3 seconds, and then my own comment will vanish in my own comment section. And then I started to document this kind of stuff. So let's check this out real quick. I began to document this, and what I did was I protected the person's name and most of their comment so that the video can't be removed, because I went to check this out when they said that their comment had vanished, and their comment could still be seen on my end inside YouTube Studio, but it said removed by moderator. Now, that's all cool, except for the fact that I don't have a moderator. So there is a moderator that is going around and removing comments. And this has happened a lot. This is just one that I documented. And I'm showing you that it was removed by moderator. And I do not have a moderator. Nobody moderates this channel but me. If somebody is posting like absolute bullshit, or if they are comment bombing, or if they are comment bombing and then advertising for somebody else, I'll fucking remove that shit fast. Real fast. The comments are being messed with. Everything is being messed with. Comment sections are weaponized anyway, and you have to realize that. When you watched television before, and if they wanted to have it, they could have had the technology where everybody hooked up to cable, had a keyboard, and could comment on television shows. But they didn't want that, because they're picking out the programming for you. Keyword, programming. But when the internet came along and anybody could post any video that they wanted to have a comment section, because they wanted to be able to steer people within the comment section. So you have to realize that comment sections are weaponized to begin with. They were not made so that everybody could communicate with each other. They didn't give a shit about that 20 years ago, and they don't care about that now. It is totally so that they can influence people within the comment sections. Now, another thing that people have been saying lately is they have also been commenting, hey, my browser says that there's 177 comments and I'm only seeing, 64 comments on here. What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. I began to document this a while back. These are porn links that have been totally and completely bombarding my channel all the time. And you can keep going and going and going. I documented these, started to a while back, and they kind of morph and they kind of evolve over time. These are some of the newer ones. If you post a link, it's going to get held, and it's all due to this porn crap. So yes, the comments are totally and completely being messed with. This isn't happening on this channel. It's happening everywhere on YouTube. There's a lot of funky stuff going on. And that's the last time I'm going to talk about that. From now on, I'm just going to direct people to this link, and they can check it out. Some people had some pretty colorful things to say about the Michael Hastings case. And I said that if you are too stupid to realize that, you don't belong on this channel. And somebody mentioned that I was pretty bold to say something like that. I don't care what you believe. You just don't belong on this channel if you think that it was just natural what happened to him. Another person said that it was fear porn about remote hijacking a car. Now listen to me. I have street-tuned vehicles, particular vehicles, for many, many years. And that entails basically hijacking the ECU, hacking it, putting in your own socket for an EEPROM chip. And at that point, You can control the fuel, the timing, and just about everything of the engine. These are older vehicles that I work on and do this with. With newer vehicles, you can control everything. In fact, a lot of the new Mini Coopers do not have an actual steering column at all. Not at all. There is no physical steering column, which is, to me, is scary as hell. I would never drive a car like that. If it's electronic, it can be messed with, even if it doesn't have Bluetooth or anything else. If it's electronic, it can be messed with. I'm assuming that these comments are coming from people who have never worked on a car, do not know the inner workings of these vehicles, and do not know the inner workings of an ECU and how an ECU works, especially a new ECU that has Bluetooth connections for diagnostics, which you can get into and change things. You can tune them right from the ECU, where the ECUs that I work on, you actually have to put in a socket for a chip. So they're much more advanced now, and you can do a lot more with them. Even the old ECUs that I work with have the ability of hooking up a Bluetooth system to it where you can remotely change tuning settings without being wired up into it with a laptop. I don't use that, but you can actually set them up like that. You know, a lot of this stuff is coming from people who can't know shit about cars. The other thing is the engine and the transmission in a Mercedes C250 was, some people say 200 feet down the road, and some people say over 100 feet. Either way, if you know how an engine goes into a car, and if you know how motor mounts work, and if you know how tank-like Mercedes cars are, the idea to think that the engine and the transmission just fell out of the car is absurd. It is. It's absurd. And it's always cases like this, you know, any strange case where the first time things happen in history happen. These insane coincidences that just defy reality. So if you know how these engines and these transmissions go in, it is just absurd to think that the whole thing just fell out. It just came out of the car. And to hurl that engine and that transmission over 100 feet, some people say 200 feet, either way, to hurl it that far it's unheard of. Even in all their crash tests, I'm sure they never saw this. But if you want to drive a safe car, if something like this scares you and you're involved in whistleblowing or talking about things that people don't like, drive an older car, hack the ECU yourself so that you have control of the ECU. Now, as you know, I've talked about fungus and nano for years. After this last video, who's doing this, somebody commented, you know, I thought you believed in nano and AI and blah, blah, blah. You're saying it's people. And it's, no. No. See, this is how people slip in. They slip into the cracks, and then they add their crazy comment because they expect me to repeat everything, every video. You know, there is nano, there's fungus, there is the dust, there is all this happening, Schuanella, these different things. Someone has to tell the nano and the AI what to do. Someone has to control the fungus and the nano with radio waves. Someone has to design the nano. An organization has to run it, and signals have to interact with the nano and the fungus and the Schuanella. It's just the way it is. So it's not hard to figure out. I don't even think that was a real comment. These are used to slide in and attempt to influence people that may be on the fence. People may think, getting triggered about the comments, and they don't realize where I'm really coming from, because I'm fascinated by it. When I was a teenager, I used to watch lots of infomercials late at night, and people, like my friends, could not understand it. They could not believe that I would just sit around and watch these infomercials, that I was fascinated with these infomercials late at night. It wasn't because I liked the products or really even had any interest in what they were selling. It was the psychology of the infomercial. It was a window into how they thought, how the people creating the infomercials thought. It had nothing to do with the products or anything else. It was a window into what they were thinking about the general public. And that's the same way that I look at these trolls, moles, shills, and bots, is they are fascinating because they are constantly pulling the same shit over and over, and you get a window into how they think, how they operate, and what they're up to and what their agenda is. Where are they trying to point people? Who are they trying to point people to? What are they trying to get people to believe? And that's an important thing to understand. You have to understand where they're coming from, how they're doing it, and what they're thinking. Now, if you've ever seen the movie Apocalypto, and there's a solar eclipse, and the whole thing is an event to trick the people into believing that they have appeased the god. And then everybody is going to listen to these leaders because they knew how to appease the god and that it would bring back the sun. They have to be legit. They're doing the same thing to the general public, except it's reversed. It's not paranormal. They're making the public believe that these psychological problems that have skyrocketed and all these different problems are natural when they are created, while they try to sell you on the whole mental health thing. And telling you that mental health just isn't mental health anymore. It's social mental health. It's this and that. So it's wrong think. They're talking about right think and wrong think. But they have the public believing in this crap just like Apocalypto. There's Blue Cube. And that's the general public. And that's them telling you to go get a mental health evaluation. And that's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Lookoutfa Charlie.